Hey Logan, it's Coach. I'm here taking a look at your varsity scrimmage match here against the Sora, like you requested. I have some notes, but I don't have like a script, so I apologize if I ramble a bit. Right? Um, but yeah, let's take a look and see what we can do. See what we can learn from this.
2, 1, go!
Actually, before we start, let's play a game. Um, I want you on your left hand to count how many times you shield, and then on your right hand, I want you to count how many times you go to ledge. Okay? As we watch this set. Left hand, count how many times you shield. Right hand, count how many times you go to ledge. Got it? All right, let's give it a shot. It's great spacing there. I'm not sure if you knew that he could do that or not. I know it's probably a new matchup for you, but that was basically the exact correct space to avoid thunder there. All right, so right there, I'm going to call it out here, and I'm going to call it out every time you do it in this game. Your big bad habit, and I know we've already talked about it because we were already playing gotcha, right? Is this. You get knocked in the air, and basically 100% of the time, your option to get down is up B. You have stopped doing down B, right? So good. Up B is safer. So I am glad you have switched to up B, but up B is not safe either. So we have to get rid of it, which is why, it was your gotcha rule. So, yeah, there you go. Now, are you punished? You are punished for it here, right? You did it in the wrong direction. I will let you know, just in case you don't know, you can turn this around, right? You're Kirby with multi-jumps. So first of all, you could turn around by just using a jump and holding the other direction, right? And Kirby will start facing to the other direction before you up B. Alternatively, if you press up B and slightly behind your character, like kind of almost, it's not quite diagonal, right? So like in this case, it'd be like up and a little bit to the right. While you press up B, you will turn around and use your up B just so you can help, face those attacks. Again, I really don't want you doing this almost at all. Not zero, but like this shouldn't be your go-to option. But at least when you do the option, make sure you can face it in the right direction. Okay, so practice that a little bit. All right, so you get punished for it there. He drops his juggle, which is a little lucky. Okay, try again at ledge there. But Sora's up B, even if he grabs ledge, his Keyblade will actually hit above the ledge. It'll hit like right here. So if you're trying to like ledge guard him, he will still hit you with it, right? So he's a little tricky to ledge guard specifically. To like two frame him on it, he's pretty hard to do that against. He made a silly option there and tried to use a range attack right next to you. Okay, gets you in the air. Okay, right here, first big mistake, right? And how you lose your first stock. You can see it here. Get hit. Right there. Here. So you get hit, right? And you hold in, which is why Kirby ends up right here, right there, because you're holding in. And then because you are holding in, he will continue his combo no matter what, right? But you continue to hold in, so you still end up right next to Sora. So then he hits you, he goes up, and then he follows up while you're still holding in, which is why you're above him, right? And you went literally above Sora, and the Keyblade catches there, so you died off the top really early, like obscenely early. We have talked before about DI, directional influence, after you get hit, and there's another type of DI which happens when you are being juggled with either a multi-hit move or just multiple attacks in succession. The eye influences that as well. So because you were holding in, right, because you're holding in, you end up in a bad position here. Now, if we take this same moment, but instead you were DIing away from Sora out toward the blast zone on the right, he would not have hit you with his up B here. Or he might have hit you, but you would have drifted to the right end of it, right? And then you would have came out the top. So when you're getting hit by a multi-hit move and you want to avoid getting hit by the end of it like that, hold away and up, okay? Hold away from the character you're being hit by and up. And then he'll knock you kind of that way. And that last hit wouldn't have hit you and you would have escaped up here. And you would not have died at like 60% or whatever you were at. 40. You wouldn't have died at 40, right? But because you were holding in, you died off the top. So that's why that stock happened. Good job here. This is I know we've talked just a little bit about B moves that are worth taking and B moves that aren't. Sora's is definitely a copy ability that is worth taking. It's very, very strong. So yeah, I agree with this. Okay. So I want to point this out here. I should have pointed out a little bit in the first stock too, but you never, ever play defensive. Which makes a little bit of sense in this matchup at first, right? Because you don't have a good projectile. You have your up B, which is not a good projectile. It's fine, I guess. But not for the kind of projectiles we're talking about. And you're facing Sora, who does have a good projectile, right? So approaching is, you kind of have to, a little bit. But here, you now have a projectile. Namely, you have Sora's projectile, right? So you could, if you want, just kind of chill back and pelt him with this, right? With Faraga, with Thundaga, with Blizzard. But you don't, right? You just run in. And you do that throughout this entire game, where every opportunity you have, your only real option when you're in neutral is run in and be aggressive. You never do anything when you're both in neutral state, right? So you play your advantage differently, you play your disadvantage differently. But while you are in neutral, the only option you ever take is run in and attack. Sometimes you'll run in and you'll have correctly read a shield, and I'll point those out when you do because they're very good. But so you'll grab, but generally you just run in and you attack. And you run in or you grab, or you run in and you attack, or you attack, or you jump in and you attack, or you'll attack. Or you'll just run in and grab, or you'll run in and attack. There's never anything else to it. You never like run in, then back off a little bit. You never just hang out away from their character and make them see if they'll approach you, right? Especially when you have a projectile. You always, 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 always just run in and attack. So there you go. You run in. Okay, you kind of hit him with projectile there, and look, it worked. Okay. So you catch him at ledge there, and right there. Good job. You get a grab there. Excellent. You kind of fish for it a little bit hard, right? He showed you over there that he wasn't going to fall for it right away again. And you just fish for it immediately. But I see what you're doing, and you weren't punished too hard for it, so not bad. And you actually get the grab there. All right, so had you not hard committed to dash here, right? Because run-in dash attack is going to hit an opponent who just does a neutral get-up. Or maybe possibly one who decides to attack at ledge with like a get-up attack. But you don't really know what the Sora is going to do at ledge just yet because you've never really had him in this position. Well, I think you did a couple times earlier, but he's mostly done this where he's kind of like drops down, whatever. Either way, the option, he's never once picked the option of get up and stand here or get a get up attack and stand here. So your dash attack was never going to hit, right? Because he's either always dropped down and then attacked, or he's always jumped up above and then did something, which is what happens here. He ends up above you, and you miss. And then you miss the opportunity to take the stock there, right? Now, you do get him right here. I thought... Oh, you'll give him a bit then. I thought it was right there. I actually don't think that was a bad use of your down B here, by the way. He is... Like, he's right next to you. There's a very good chance this hits. It doesn't hit, right? But I don't think this was like... I don't think this use of stone was bad because he's already shown he wants to follow you, and he is currently doing it. So I applaud you for this stone. This is good. And it's not something you were doing like the entire match, right? So good work. It wasn't a habitual stone. You chose to do that. All right, so you could have hit him here, right? Up. So when he's doing this one instead of his up B will poke above ledge, like right here. This little side one, unless he's coming kind of from this direction, it typically doesn't hit above ledge, and he ended up missing ledge entirely. So had you been positioned a little bit better, you could have come over here and down smashed, and you would have taken that stock like here. I was going to say early, but it's not early at all, but you could have taken the stock here. So just pay attention to how your opponent's recovering, right? Kind of position yourself so that way you can get in case they make a mistake, like happened there. So you could have stood to be a little bit closer to ledge here. All right, so this is something else I see you do in neutral a lot, right? You're in disadvantage state, okay? He just hit you up into the air. What you should do here is go down or go to ledge yourself. You should reset back to neutral. But instead, even though you are currently in disadvantage state, you just keep taking the aggressive option, you fly over and you're trying to hit him. Now, this stone is bad, right? He is nowhere near you and he's in the perfect position to avoid it. The one earlier, he was chasing you. That was great. This one seems more like a panic option, right? You're just looking to take the stock. And he correctly deduced you're going to do that and managed to dodge it, and I think he punches you. Yeah, he punches you and you almost die for it, right? This is why stone's a bad option, just in general. You really should have, when you got hit up here, just went back to stage or down to ledge to reset to neutral, okay? So he almost took your stock there. I think if that hit you, you might still live. But he has a lot of rage, and you have a lot of damage for Kirby. Great job there. I know we had spoken between games 1 and 2, and you took my advice there. Excellent work. That is one of your better kill options once your opponent's at a high percent on stages with platforms. This coming week, the stage is FD. One of the stages is FD, so you're not going to be able to really do that until super high percent. But still, excellent job here. And most stages will have stuff like this for you to look out for. Okay, good job there. Great position there. Okay, he almost killed you there. Ooh, that was a good grab, actually. That was a good read. You just barely missed it. Ooh. You could have hit a dash attack there, right? He was a little bit too far for you to grab. But lucky for us, he did decide to shield there. Instead, he held it too long. He got spooked. And so you followed up with a grab. Dash attack could have caught his landing. So you can use dash attack when an opponent's trying to land. But otherwise, good job. You correctly read he wanted to shield. Okay, get him there. Successfully brought him back up in stock count. Hey, like right there. Like you can use your dash tat to catch a landing just like you did there. Good job. Now he does catch you here, right? You went for the down smash when he was in a safe position, right? Because he hasn't used his up B yet. He's falling from the top. So he stalled himself using his neutral B, Blizzaga. So this misses. But in addition, he still has his up B to hit you with. And like I said before, it does hit this position on ledge. So this is really dangerous. It would have worked had he gone low, up bead, and then side bead to ledge, right? And missed it. But otherwise, this isn't going to catch him here. Yep. Great work there with the grab, though. I don't know if up throw would have killed there. I'm not convinced it would have with no rage, but it was close. So, okay, this is a mistake and kind of a weird panic option. Your opponent is in freefall, right? They just did up B, and now they're falling. And you decide to try to punch with up B when all you had to do, given your position, was just fall down and back air, and he would have died. This is a pretty significant mistake, right? Because you just took your normal panic option of up B. This is a big reason why during your gacha is missing up B and down B in above stage, is just because when you use it as a panic option, you're missing opportunities to take stocks early, right? And worse, this has a lot of ending lag, and you're not going to hit him with it. So I don't know if he punches you here or not for it, but he does not. But he definitely could have, right? And the only reason he didn't was because he was already in a bad situation and was looking for a defensive option to escape instead of an option to push the advantage, even though you made a mistake. Just want to point out. And you get the grab here. Good job. Once again, you got him with it. Great work. Panic option. Okay, you didn't know what to do in neutral, so you upbeat, and it worked out for you, but, you know, you could have punished. Okay, pretty standard store combo. He almost kills you there. Let's take a look here. So you go for stone, but stone's slow, right? Let's see. And you hold in, which just barely lets you survive that. Okay. So you were holding in towards stage, right? This works out for you here because the Sora isn't paying enough attention to your DI. But had he been paying attention, he could have made that up B hit by holding a little bit more up instead of holding it kind of to the left. Because he can go straight up with it, right? And it would have caught you. But lucky for us, he wasn't paying enough attention to how you were DIing. And that's a fairly advanced thing, right? So I don't expect too many players that you're going to face are going to do stuff like that. But, you know, just be aware of it. The habit that you have here is that you're just holding in up here, right? You're trying to get to center stage instead of going for like, we're choosing between going to center and like going to ledge or going to stage. Okay, you're super patient here. Catches you there. Up there. You choose your panic option, right, to get down here, and you're not punished for it, but I am going to point this out. Had this Sora thrown Faraga here, and then just turned around because you've done this the entire match, he could have caught you with Thundaga and gotten the stock. Okay? He doesn't, so it works out for you, right? But a better Sora player absolutely could have caught you here. They could have thrown out Faraga knowing that you were going to recover high right into Thunder, and you would have died. Okay, I don't think taking that's a bad call. So that's a super unsafe position to use this move in. And I understand that like you don't know this matchup, so you aren't aware of the end leg of that move or the spacing of it. That's totally fine. But just be aware, Try to learn some of the copy abilities. You kind of could have gotten the idea from watching Sora use it throughout the match, I suppose, but I won't blame you too much for this here. But you are using it really close when opponent's next to you, right? So all he had to do was shield the first hit, he lets go, gets you in a combo, and he does his up air. I'm not sure any amount of DI would have saved you there. So that's why you died there. Okay, so that's the match. So let's review the thing I asked you to do at the start of the match, right? How many fingers did you hold up on your left hand for number of times you shielded? It is 0. Uh, how many fingers do you have in your right hand for number of times you went to ledge? It is 0. You never went to ledge, and you never used shield at any point during the match, right? That's not great. The reason being, like we talked about in class, Smash Bros works as like rock paper scissors, right? Shields beat attacks, attacks beat grabs, and grabs beat shields. You're trying to play rock paper scissors without scissors. It's just it's a huge problem, right? You just can't win a like long form rock paper scissors game if you're not going to use one of the three options. The moment your opponent realizes that that you will refuse to throw scissors, then they just can't lose, right? The best you might do is tie. Combine this with what I mentioned earlier, where you are just super aggressive the whole match, and you have a recipe for disaster against someone who's paying a little bit more attention. Okay? So here's the thing. This match actually does go fairly well for you. You break to last stock, and that's great. You did a good job. But a better Sora player absolutely could have cheesed the heck out of you, because all they would have had to do, if they know you refuse to press shield, is just press side B the entire match, and you would have lost from it, because you would have refused to shield it. This is a hypothetical, of course. If you actually like refuse to shield the entire match, I trust that had that been the case, you would have eventually figured out to shield it. You're not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination, but if in this world where you never shield, right, side B would have just beat you over and over and over the head again and again and again. This Sora isn't spamming side B. They're a little bit better than that habit, right? But in this case, they could have used that to just punish your bad habit of never shielding. Combined with this, your habit of just running in and being aggressive, they have all the options in the world. They know exactly what you're going to do. You never run in shield, right? You never run in spot dodge. You never run in and run back out. You just run in and you attack. And they know you're not going to pick a defensive option. It's just going to be an attack, which is why right at the end here, it doesn't even matter that he didn't know exactly what you're going to do, right? All he had to know was you're attacking, and now you're approaching, and he shields. I don't think he had noticed that you were using Thunder quite yet. It does actually come out here before he shields, but he runs in and he just shields, because it doesn't actually, he knows that you're not going to do anything besides attack. You might grab. That's about it. So shield's going to beat your attack. And because of that, you lose the stock, right? Okay, so that's big problem number one. You have to learn to shield during play. I'm not saying you have to use it a ton, okay? But it's crucial. Like, you need to show the opponent, this is one of my options. This is something I know how to do, and I'm willing to use it to beat you. It doesn't have to be your primary option. It doesn't have to be your go-to option. Movement is often better, right? As in like moving in and out to like bait an attack or an option from them, okay? And you do a great job of mixing up attacks and grabs, right? You're doing great there. I'm not super concerned about that. You kind of save your grabs a little bit for when they're high percent, because you're looking to use them to kill instead of racking up damage. You could stand to do a little bit more at early percents, but I digress. I'm not super concerned about that. But never using shield at all arguably cost you this match. Okay, so that's point number one. Then point number 2, you never grab ledge at any point. In fact, watching it a second time here, I believe you never go below stage more than once. I think you go down here one time throughout this entire set. Every single other time you get into disadvantage state, you float high, and then you up B, and you try to land on a platform, or you land on stage. 100% of the time. And this Sora punishes you a few times for it. A decent player would have punished you for it nearly every single time because you never showed that you know how to do something else. So this is the big reason why your gotcha rule was you have to you can't up B on stage and miss, right? That's why your gotcha rule is the way it is, because you need to come down here and go to ledge. You don't have to do this 100% of the time, okay? But you have to come down here and go to ledge like 70% of the time. It needs to be the default option because recovering high is never safe. Well, I'm not going to say never safe. It's very often not the safest thing you could be doing in the moment, right? Using it as a mix-up to trick the opponent into thinking that you're going down here, but then haha, surprise, I'm actually attacking. That's fine like 30% of the time. But the default needs to be to come down here. So that's why your gotcha rule is the way it is. So just to show that in action, I'm going to go to a game for Jeja Jeja, and we're going to take a look, and I want you to pay attention to 3 things, okay? I want you to pay attention to how often he chooses to recover high, okay? And I want you to pay attention to how often he shields. Lastly, you never tilt during this entire match, I don't think. And tilts are really good for Kirby in neutral. You mostly only ever approach from the air, but Kirby has good options on the ground besides grab. So you should start trying to use those more, but they're not nearly as big a deal as the other 2 that I've pointed out. But during this next thing, during Jeja's match, I want us to pay attention to 3 things: how often he shields, how often he goes to ledge, and how often he uses tilts. We're also going to talk about one more thing, which is edge guarding, but we'll get to that during his match. Be right back. Hey, Logan, we're back. This is a video from an online tournament between Jeja and a player Jojo Das. This is on YouTube, right? But I have to warn you, Jeja does use some very strong language during the set. So if you go watch this on your own, being a responsible adult, I have to tell you to mute it, which is why I've muted it here, right? Because I definitely can't show it. So just be aware of that, okay? So let's hop in. Just as a reminder, we're going to pay attention to 3 things. We're going to pay attention to how often he shields. We're going to pay attention to how often he goes to ledge, and how often he uses tilts. Okay, let's give it a shot. And I also picked a match where he's playing a Sora player, just to, compare it to your other game. There he goes. Match starts, and he's not 2 seconds in. He approaches, right? And he misses a down tilt, so he tilts immediately. Shield, shield. Okay, gets cut up. And look at that. Goes to ledge, right? Let's compare that to what you probably would have done, which is there. You probably would have held in and jumped in and then maybe upbeat here, right? So this is just why I'm comparing it, right? I'm not trying to bully or nothing. I'm just trying to compare to show you, hey, look, like the best Kirby players in the world, they're going to ledge, right? Goes way down here to ledge, recovers safely. None of that hits him. Does great. All right, he ran in and he did an F tilt. Okay, down tilt, shields. Oh, and this is a good catch here. Actually, this is very similar to the situation you found yourself in, right? Earlier when you got caught by Sora's up B way up here off stage. But notice that when Jeja gets caught, he's holding out. he's holding away from Sora, and he actually survives that, even though he was at a higher percent than you were. So, yeah, I just want to show that's how another way that DI can save you. It's caught here. All right, so this is something that you can start doing, right? He uses this to get below stage, right? He didn't stop it above stage. He let himself go below stage. And then he decided to not grab ledge there because Sora was nowhere near it. But I digress. The point is, he went below ledge, right? He went way down here to stay safe using that down B. Okay, ran in, used enough tilt. Shielded in neutral there to try to avoid. The Sora player makes a mistake. He punches with a back air. And now look at this. He went off stage to edge guard him, right? Because Jeja knows that Kirby has a crazy strong recovery, and so he's not afraid to go play off stage. He chases Sora, goes to ledge, he down B's there. Doesn't work out for him, right? But he's testing the waters. He was seeing what Jojo Doss is doing. Gets caught there, okay? Jeja is an extremely good Kirby player, but he's not, perfect. I think he actually loses his first game here. Okay, and look at that. Even Jeja, when he lost neutral and he decided to recover high, he got punished for it, right? But that time he went low, and look at that. Look how low he went. He saw that Sora made a mistake by following him out that far and missing, and even when he's this far below stage, he's thrown out attacks to hit him because he's so confident he's going to make it back. And he does by going to ledge. Crazy. And right there. Okay, so this is what also something I want you to start doing a little bit more often, okay? When anytime you get knocked up, you do panic option of either down B or up B. More often than not, up B lately. But Jeja doesn't take either option because he doesn't have to go down right now. He just chills, he air dodges over, and he goes to ledge, right? So ledge is super safe. It's don't get me wrong, it's not like they can't possibly hit you here, but this is the safest place to be in the game. So when you lose neutral and you're in disadvantage state, ledge is a great place to go. And look, he went back to neutral. He got a back air. He landed a tilt. He goes off stage to edgeguard, and he very nearly gets that kill. Doesn't quite. And even though he got punished for whiffing it, right, and he gets knocked way down here, it's Kirby. So Kirby just jump up piece, and he's fine. And he immediately goes off stage again. He's going for it. And he does get caught there. Okay. Look at this man use tilts, right? He used it to get Sora in the air here with his up tilt. Super good. Your up tilt hits in front of you, right? It's really good to start a combo chain. And he was patient to the follow up because he wanted to see what the Sora player was going to try to land with, and then he punished when the Sora player committed to an option. And then he tied it right back up. 1-1. And look at that. Between stocks, Jeja, not afraid to go ledge. Absolutely cool just going to ledge. And he's using tons of tilts in neutral, right? So I don't actually know if you and I have talked about this. I know I've talked with some of the students about it. But if you aren't already, you should consider switching your right stick to tilts or attack instead of smash. By default, it's set to smash, right? So you can quickly use smash attacks with it. But Kirby and other characters whose tilt attacks are really important for their neutral, if you set to attack instead, then when you move your right stick, you can get tilts out very quickly, and really consistently. I use it for Yoshi because they're super important for his game plan as well. And I think it would help you a lot if you aren't already doing it. And I apologize that I don't actually already know. Okay, he catches J there. Look, he went below stage with his down B to get himself into a safe position so he could go to ledge. And he chose because Sora made a mistake here, right? He chose to go above it with his up B and hit. It wasn't by like default, it wasn't by accident. He chose to avoid ledge and hit Sora. Because Sora is overcommitting with his projectiles at ledge. Gets caught there. He punches with a dash attack. Okay. And he got spaced out by that F smash there to lose game one. All right. We're going to watch one more of these just real quick. And I'm going to do less pausing during the second game. Because I think you're getting the idea, but I'm already here. And I want to at least end it on J. winning one of these. All right, so he hops into game two. So another thing I just want to point out real quick. Sorry, I know I just promised I was going to pause less. He never goes super high with his jumps. He only ever, at most, uses one double jump in neutral. And you commit a little bit harder than that. You usually use 2 or 3 when you approach. Try to keep mostly on the ground with a single jump, like a short hop, and then maybe one extra like double jump thrown in. Any higher than that, and you start getting to juggle range, right? But J does a great job, like right there, of just kind of keeping it low. I know he just got hit in a string there, but you get the idea. So that's super dangerous. So this is something that your Sora player never even did against you, is he never countered, right? I haven't thought about that when I was watching your set, but because you're so aggressive, if he just threw in some counters, like he probably would have caught you out many times. But I digress. This is why it's important to switch between being aggressive versus a little bit more defensive or bait and punishy. Okay, goes to ledge. He does mess up, right? Because he did up B, he got caught by counter. But watch how he follows this up after he realized that he made a mistake. And the Sora player showed, hey, if you misspace that, then I'm going to punish you for it. Watch what J does. Air dodges to ledge, right? He learned. After one time of it happening, J realizes, oh, I can't just upbeat a ledge anymore and miss it as like an attack option because my opponent is going to punish me for it. And there he goes. He went and did it again, just out of habit. And while he was waiting there, he went down to try to punish Sora. J, knowing that Kirby's like recovery is so good, just not afraid of being off stage. Super okay with it. Gets caught there. Okay. Again, he goes below stage. Okay. And look at this. So he doesn't commit here, right? So I feel like in a similar situation, you probably would have used up B to get back down to the ground quickly. Okay. But J doesn't. He just lets himself fall, right? And then when he notices Sora approaching, he hasn't committed to an option yet. So he's able to just double jump up and avoid it. And he lands with a nair, and he starts his own combo string because the Sora overcommits, right? Now he does get caught out there by the counter, right? He started an aggressive chain, and his opponent's really low percent, so he doesn't have much hit lag. Or hit stun was the correct word, never mind. But you get the point. Okay, goes below the stage, goes to ledge, air dodges to ledge because he learned. Spaces it, and then when it fails, he protects himself with an up tilt. Spaces it, immediately runs back, waiting for a mistake. The Sora doesn't make one. He catches him. This is a fun confirm that you can try learning if you are feeling silly. I don't know what to say. Sorry, it's late. uh, he cancels his forward air into a landing into F smash, which is a pretty great Kirby kill confirm on most characters. And look at that. He recognized what Sora was doing, and so when he realized that his tilt missed because Sora went with Thundaga instead of approaching, he immediately decides to shield. Right? Does a roll behind, and he was happy once he realized that his aggressive option wasn't going to work to switch to play defense. Uses his tilts and up airs to get a combo chain going. Okay, kind of getting juggled. He chooses to go up, right? And once again, important, he does not pick an option when he's up here, okay? He could have went down. He could have went to ledge. He decides not to, okay? He decides to recover high. And even this time when he's deciding, like this about 30% of the time to go high, he doesn't force an option to get to the ground quickly. He's willing to chill because he has 5 jumps to avoid Sora with and an air dodge, right? So he gets to come down, jump as soon as he knows the Sora moves left, and then he gets to punish him for it. That was awesome. So up smash is one of Kirby's best kill options, which he makes great use of here, killing at 96%. Super early. So this is something I was hoping you would do a little bit more too, because you have already shown that you can get the grab reads, right? Excuse me. You can get the grab reads. You can use them at low percent too to get combo chains started like that, and then you can follow it up into like tilts. Now he overcommits there, right? He overcommits this chain. He should have just returned to stage here. Instead, he does one more jump, and he ends up above Sora, so Sora can punish. But it's besides the point. He got a whole 50% damage off of one grab, right? Crazy. He caught him out there. So he actually used the projectile as like a projectile there. Tries to space that, catches the jump, goes super deep. Look at that. Look at this. Look how unfazed Jaja is to go deep, right? He is just down, down, and then a third time already underneath, right next to the blast zone, and he is unfazed because he knows he's going to be able to make it back. He does not care. He knows there was a decent chance that kills Sora right there, and he just floats back. No big deal. And he gets the up smash read, and he wins game 2. I haven't actually watched game 3, so I'm not going to go over it here. I think you get the idea. So I just want to compare the two, since he had a game on stream where he fought a Sora player, and he showed off a lot of the stuff that I hope that you can kind of learn and take for yourself. So yeah, I hope this VOD review was helpful, and you can grab some from it. All right, that's going to be it. I'll see you in class, Logan.